Hello everyone, I'm Sivam Kumar and I welcome you to this virtual webinar on Life of an Orphan. Before I begin, I want to ask all the audience present here, how many of you have volunteered in an orphanage before? You can just write in the chat. Okay, some people who have registered for our webinar, around 17% of the people have volunteered in the orphanage before. So you have my respect now. That's a very good work. So let's begin. Have you ever wondered about the kids sleeping on the streets or begging near traffic lights? Possibilities are the family of that child is under very harsh circumstances or that child have no family at all. Either way, life of such children is quite very challenging. Unlike the movies, these children have to face such challenges in their early life that could even break a normal adult person and leave a deep mental impact on them. According to UNICEF, almost 10,000 children become orphan every day, and there are around 140 million orphans right now in the world. When I was a kid, I used to visit my aunt's house very often, and there was an orphanage near my aunt's house. That orphanage was under the care of a church. You know, a kid is always so curious about the surroundings they are living in. I used to think like what this place is. So one day I asked my mama, what is this place, mama? She told me orphan children live there. And I was like, what's that? Because I myself was a kid back then. Although I didn't exactly understand what was that back then, but I do understand it just now. Childhood refers to the period of, it's on the first slide, Rishabh. Childhood refers to the period of age between around 13, basically up to 13. The task of parents is to satisfy both the physiological and psychological needs of a child and give them a good education and prepare them for life's challenge, which is they are going to face. Every child who goes through this most critical phase of life without enjoying parental care is considered an orphan. Well, a child can become an orphan in many ways, like death of their parents is one of the reasons for a child to become orphan, but it's not the main cause behind so much number of orphan today. A study showed that only 10% of total orphan children become orphan because of loss of their parents, and 90% of them are just abandoned by their parents. Well, most of the parents of such children are alive and they abandon their children because of incompetency or financial problem. Such parents do think of this as it will be good for their children and the orphanage will provide them good education and care. But the reality is this loss leaves a deep mental impact on the children. Then comes abusive parents who not only beat and abuse their children but also harass them mentally. Although the government have set strict punishment for such people, but that can only be useful if someone have witnessed a child getting abused and they report it to the police department. Usually this doesn't happen and the child keeps getting abused and finally they leaves their house and end up becoming an orphan. Life of orphan child is very difficult and different from that of a normal child. A normal child have support of their family, they get chance to meet new people, make new friends and visit different places. While an orphan child spends most of their time in orphanage until they grow up, and due to this they don't have a good social skill and they find themselves in uncomfortable situations when they grew up and they have to make conversation with new people out of the orphanage. Orphan children have no support or fallback system, and due to this, they are more likely to have a mental breakdown that can last throughout their lives. Such children, especially the ones from the challenging background, becomes very vulnerable and some of them even develop attachment disorder. Attachment disorder is a general term for conditions that cause people to have a hard time connecting and forming relationships with other people. Because of abandonment and loss that orphan children face, they develop some sort of protective system where they push away people usually so that they don't get hurt even more. Having such mentality make it even more difficult for an orphan children to grow and live in isolated place from other around them. That makes their life even more challenging. Every one of us present here must have seen an orphan and experienced their mentality either in real life or in movies. So what do they want or need say they need? Any orphanage or volunteer can provide them good education if they work properly, but what those children need the most is love. I mean, a lot of love to heal their past wounds and someone to support them, to provide them affection and support and also identity that they need to survive in the world. Most of the orphan children usually feel very insecure and lonely. After facing such losses, they become afraid that people will reject them in society because they are orphan, and this mindset always prevent them from making bonds. So they constantly or say mostly live alone, and they don't get enough of the love that they deserve. Life of an orphan is very challenging, not just for their physical needs, like for having a house or identity, but it's very challenging for them emotionally too. So I will conclude from my side now. On to Sreya.
Okay, thank you, Shivam. Life in an orphanage. I myself always wonder their lifestyle and think, are they really getting what they want? Their life happens on a schedule. Children get up, eat, learn, and recreate in a regimented way. They tend to lead fairly structured life due to the nature of an orphanage. Many children and fewer caregivers. They have to share all their things to each other, but not able to share their feelings and thoughts. Orphanage in life does mean a child can have difficulty in establishing a sense of permanency. Life in an orphanage is one of change. Caregivers come and go, so do peers. Their free time tends to be well managed. They learn to depend on themselves. The orphanage environment does not help family skills. They are having their particular times, rules, and have to strictly follow time and routine. There isn't a time or routine that fits all orphanages everywhere. This is just a common schedule that we gathered from many sources on the internet. The day routine is not that different from that of a normal child, except for a few key differences. They have to wake up early in the morning, eat their breakfast, getting help, their study time, their playing time, again in the evening, their study time and their snacks time, their evening services, like all their clothes and all, and now again dinner and bedtime. As you can see, this seems like a good daily routine, but the key difference is in the quality of life. The education and meals that they receive is not usually satisfactory for all round development of growing, and in some cases doesn't even meet the set of standards or the dietary requirement for them. They also get no way to help themselves nurture their own personal skills. Here I conclude in next to Risha.
Yeah, thank you, Shreya. Uh, let's talk about the limitations of a child at an any orphanages. We everyone have some limitations in their life, but there is slightly few changes to the child in an orphanage. So we have seen that many of the orphanages, even if they are not at fault, has not been able to provide standard educations and necessary quality of life to the orphans. So, for example, they do not provide quality educations that catering to every single child. Even they do not get to interact with different peoples, hence they lack to develop the social skills in a particular child or an orphan. They do not get the creative freedoms and guidance due to lack lack of the right resources. Other than that, they do not have their necessity like access to internet, or they don't know how to surf on the web. Moving on to the needs of an orphan. So everyone have some expectations in their life, or any wish to be completed. So children need various types of support, ranging from those things necessary for survival, such as food, health, and education, to those interventions that will provide a better quality of life in the future, such as education, psychological supports, and economic self-sufficiency. In an ideal world, all children would have access to all types of high quality services. This is in the real world. Many children are faint and not are malnourished, sick, and without shelter. Some argue that a comprehensive program to support children should include all essential elements, including food, health care, then education, clothes, shoes, bedding, psychological supports, economics, then self-sufficiency, etc. Others hold that some of these elements are not essentials or far exceed the situations of most children living in poor households with both of their parents. Hence, estimates of resources needed for six categories of supports. They are as follows. So the first one is the food. So food and clean waters are the most basic needs for all children or everyone. So food supplied from external source could actually reduce food securely in the long run if that disrupts the local market. But uh, procured locally or produced through community gardens can contribute to the local food security. This may be provided as either bulk grain needing preparations or as a cooked meals. Moving on to healthcare, the need for healthcare includes childhood immunizations and vitamins, supplements for children under 5, routine healthcare for all the for all, and the reproductive health services for older children aged 10 to 17. In some countries, healthcare is free for all children or the youngest children. However, of patients often have to pay for drugs and supplies. Some have argued that orphan-related programs should be advocate for free health care for all children rather than focus on providing funding to pay for care for children. However, in that case, additional resources would need to be made available to governments to provide free cares to families. Then we come to education. So this includes school fee where they exist, funds required for uniform, then books and other supplies. Many countries have eliminated school fees, and additional advocacy efforts could help to eliminate them in other countries as well. But the extra cost of uniform, supplies, and special assessments can still be substantial. Then we comes to family home support. This category includes clothes, shoes, and economic self-sufficiency. The need for bed nets will vary depending on local climate and other conditions. In many cases, donated clothes and shoes are available at no cost, but reliance on donated goods may not be sustainable as programs scale up considerably. Then economic self-sufficiency refers to programs to provide older children, their families, with economic support such as microfinance loans, skills, training, grants, or seeds. Then we have a community support. So this includes identification of vulnerable children and funding for community workers who can access needs, organize supports, and provide some counseling and individual support. Also, many community workers will be volunteers, but significant funds may still be required for training and transportations. Then other services, we have not explicitly included cost for national level advocacy and legislative reforms. These may be needed in many countries to address specified issues such as school fees, the cost of healthcare, or child protections. Also, many important activities such as memory books, camps, etc., are assumed to be covered under community support, but these may require additional resources beyond the community workers' training and support. So we have included an estimate of the cost of administrating support programs, including fundraising, planning, research, etc. This category applies to organization cost of non-government organizations, that is NGOs, providing support or central administration cost for government-run programs. So as we can see, the most essential needs of an orphan child, they need a love, care, and affections. They need a good quality education. Uh, they even need a guidance and support pre and post adoptions. Then they need a development of their social skills and to explore the outside world and find their own interest and sense of creativity. So these are the most important or the essential needs of an any orphan or any child who means they think of. So now pass out to Sanket.
Hello everyone. Now, when talking about life after adoption, there can be a few changes that we can better understand if we look at both sides of the coin. That is, from the point of view of the parents as well as the child. Let's talk about it from the parents' perspective. The few challenges that they have to face are after parents adopt a child, it's important for their new transracial or transcultural family to help the new family member feel at home. So there might be some challenges like how do we respond to rude or well-intentioned comments our friends, relatives, or strangers make about our children's ethnicity? Better yet, how do we teach them how to respond in kind? Will our family members accept a child of a different race or ethnic background? How do we help our kids understand that they are God's gift to us? As their identities blossom, how do we give them familial roots, not only as a part of our immediate family, but also with their birth country's heritage and traditions? How do we encourage teachers and authority figures to respect their unknown family history and at the same time to avoid the singling out because of their adoptive past? Remember, parents, you have to adjust to this new parenting situation and face the aforementioned challenges. But your children have to answer questions about living in a transracial or transcultural family on a daily basis. It's a formidable task, and you must be ready to deal with them. So, start from the moment you bring that bundle of joy home. By making your home a safe and loving environment, talk to them about it, and don't think that it is ever too early to start. Many books are available from your local bookstore or library, or even going on the internet to search for them. That can help make this introduction easier. If you're thinking about adopting an older child, invade their privacy, find out what other kids or adults are saying to them, and make sure that they are as secure as part of your family. Now, let's talk about it from the perspective of a child. Even after adoption, they are not able to adapt to the new lifestyle. They have severe mental breakdown and trust issues. They are uncomfortable in the social setting and are forced upon them all of a sudden. They are harassed by other children and sometimes even by other family members. Now let's take a watch a few clips from the movie Chan Kuli Ki Man Kuli in order to understand these. Now, because this was a light-hearted comedy, they added some comedy moments to the harsh undertones that this movie depicts. In the first part of the clip, you saw him seeing a dream but being woken up, and because he was a little late, he couldn't take a proper bath. Then, during the food service, one of the older kids didn't provide the right serving of the food to the other kid. You also saw that when the owner or the caretaker of the orphanage saw the cutlery fall down, he disciplined the boy by beating him with his cane and ordering him to clean the entire floor as punishment. Next, we also saw the perspective of the child in these situations that we are probably all familiar with, like not picking up a call from our parents. Also, You saw how teaching them is different from teaching normal child. And lastly, you saw what they really desire is not luxuries, but just good family and love. This is not just depicted in this Bollywood movie, but in many forms of media, including one I am sure most of you know about, that is Harry Potter. Now, talking about the ideal life of an orphan, we want them to have we want them to have a curriculum that allows for all-round development in all aspects of life, including but not limited to physical, mental, and social aspects. Often kids go out of the orphanage and talk with people with different walks of life. Even after adoption, we would want to regularly go and check on them to make sure that they are doing well and helping them out in adjusting to their new life. Now, let's take a look at how we can accomplish this, how we can change the life of an orphan. By providing educational content that covers a wide range of topics, by spreading awareness through events like this one, by volunteering at orphanages and spending time providing care, love, and affection, organizing small tours, picnics, and expeditions to places that they have never been, by showing them ways to be content with what they have and explore their creativity in their own unique way. And with this, I conclude today's presentation.
It is said that life without a father is silence, and life without a mother is graveyard. This is what an orphan feels and undergoes daily. Hoping to have some helping hands, an ray of light, they whispers all the night. Why me is their question. Why can't we like other children? Are we filled with flaws or be neglected by God? Are we a burden or a allegation? Who are we? Why only we? By this, I want to say this to all of you that these little kids only need love and attention to just grow like all of us in this beautiful world. Hence, we, the members of Hope, would really want all of you to be a part of our journey and try helping them in every possible way we can.
I would like to thank everyone for joining today's presentation webinar.